Assalamualaikum and hi Dr. Charity. We from Group 2 have selected one of the specialized industry which is aquaculture. We will present the disclosures and presentation in financial statements for MAC Holdings Berhad. Here are the members of our group. We have Abdul Izzat Shafiq, me myself Nurul Mardiana, and Nurul Hana Farisha. For background, MAC Holdings Berhad is currently an aquaculture-based food producer group listed on the ACE market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. It is one of the main players in the prawn farming business in Malaysia. MAC was incorporated in Malaysia in 2004 as a private limited company. On 10 April 2020, the company announced that it is proposing to change its name from Zinghe Holding Berhad to MAC Holdings Berhad. This proposed change of name which is undertaken to provide a new corporate identity for the company. MAC, the acronym for Malaysian Aquaculture Group, assumed its present name in 2020 to better reflect its present principal business in aquaculture.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abdul Izzat Shafiq bin Abdul Rahman, number metric as 50263. I'm going to talk about the accounting policies and standard. So according to the MAG Holding Berhad, the company is adopted the standard of MFRS, which is 141 for biological assets. These biological assets comprise of live prawns that are measured at the fair value less cost to sell. The fair value of the live prawns is determined using the market price is derived from the observable market prices through historical data, and it is also estimated size of prawn based on the sampling basis and average harvest weight per pond, which is estimated through historical data as well. So the cost to sell include the incremental selling cost is excludes from finance cost and income tax. So for the next accounting standard and policies for MAG Holding Berhad, which MAG Holding Berhad adopted the standard of MFRS 102 for inventories. Inventories are measured at the lower cost and the net realizable value. The cost of inventory is measured based on weighted average cost and includes expenditure incurred in acquiring the inventories and other costs incurred in bringing them to their existing location and also conditions.
For disclosure on accounting for revenue, the amount of revenue in the annual report for the year of 2019 is 1,624,000 ringgit. There are continuing operation and discontinued operation listed under revenue. The continuing operation is sale of live prawn, which is RM 1,624,000. The performance obligations for continuing operation is satisfied when the goods are delivered to customers and acknowledged by customers. The credit term granted to customers is generally 90 days and there is no allocation of transaction price required to personal obligation, as each contract consists of one personal obligation only and transaction price is determined based on mutually agreed price of the goods. While the timing for revenue recognition policies is recognized at the point in time when the group had satisfied their performance obligation, that is the delivery of goods to customer. There is basically no unsatisfied performance obligation at the end of the financial year 2019, that is unperformed services, and therefore no cut-off issue on the recognition of revenue. The discontinued operations are sales of goods which are branded products, non-branded products, raw peanuts and others. The total for the discontinued operation is RM 598,432,000 million. For branded products, non-branded products and others, the performance obligation is satisfied when the goods are delivered to customers. The credit term granted to customers generally range from cash on delivery to 90 days. There is no allocation of transaction price required to performance obligation, as each contract consists of one performance obligation only and transaction price is determined based on agreed price of the goods. The timing of recognition is at the point in time when the group had satisfied their performance obligation, that is the delivery of goods to customer. There is no unsatisfied performance obligation at the end of financial year that is unperformed service, and therefore no cut-off issue on the recognition of revenue. The group was also engaged in raw peanuts trading. The performance obligation for raw peanuts trading is satisfied upon delivery of goods to customer and acknowledged by customers. The amount for biological asset for the year 2019 is 3,118,000 ringgit. In measuring the fair value of live prawns biological assets, the management estimates and judgments are required, which included the expected harvest weight and expected size of prawns and observable selling price. The fair values of the biological assets are categorized at level 3 of the fair value hierarchy and were estimated using observable inputs for the assets. Other than biological asset, inventories are also one of the classification under assets. The amount for inventories for the year 2019 is Rm 502,000. Under notes to the financial statement number 17, it is stated that the group recognized inventories as cost of sales amounted to approximately Rm 577.4 million, and the group has written off inventories of approximately Rm 0.5 million, which was recognized in cost of sales.
Trade and other payables are one of the classifications under liabilities. The amount for trade and other payables for the year 2019 is 9,117,000 ringgit. For initial recognition, the fair value of the liability component was calculated using a market interest rate of 14.28% per annum for an equivalent instrument. The residual amount of the fair value of the proceeds received is included in the paid-up capital of the subsidiary concerned. Moreover, trade payable is non-interest bearing, and the normal trade credit terms granted to the group is 30 days.
The next part is about evaluate whether the disclosure is accordant with the relevant standards. So for the first item is revenue, which is the disclosure from Mac Holding Berhad related to the accounting for revenue are not made in accordance with relevant standard, which is MFRS 15, but they are in accordance with MFRS 204, which is accounting for aquaculture. This is because according to the MFRS 204, income shall be measured on the project base. Project base is the method of income determination measured by matching cost and revenue of each individual project or batch of production cycle. Apart from that, project based being generally considered the more satisfactory approach, as it tends to reflect fairly the result of farm operation and management. The second component is about biological assets. The disclosure related to the accounting for biological assets are made in accordance with relevant standard, which is MFRS 141 for agriculture. So for biological assets, this is because the fair value of biological assets in Mac Holding Berhad company are categorized at level 3 of the fair value hierarchy measurements. The next part under asset is about inventory. So the disclosure related to the accounting for inventories are not made in accordance with relevant standard, which is MFRS 102, but they are in accordance with MFRS 204. So this is because referred to MFRS 204 stated that as most aquaculture production cycle are short term, stock should be valued at the lower cost and net realizable value. For this purpose, detailed records of mortality rate, sampling on stocking density should be an integral part of an aquaculture accounting system. The current average weight of the species culture is generally considered an inappropriate base for estimating net realizable value of aquaculture stocks. This is because the rate of weight gain and mortality are different in the grow-out pace. In addition, there are species whose market values are insignificant unless they grow out to their accepted sellable size.
The disclosure related to the accounting for liabilities are made in accordance with relevant standard, which is MFRS 9 financial instruments under financial liability. This is because MFRS 9 requires an entity to recognize a financial liability in its statement of financial position when it becomes party to the contractual provisions of the instrument. So that's all from us. Thank you.